Lute and Adam were both having a discussion. Adam was confident about the extermination. After all, he was Adam, the first man, the original person. Everything around him seemed nice, and well, he felt on top of the world. However, it's only been a few years, and Lute would say, the sinners are becoming more and more bold. Soon they're going to try to fight back and discover our weakness. We need a person on the inside. So, Adam had a plan. He remembered Vaggie, an exorcist he recruited himself. She being very prideful and powerful. The only person above her was Lute. She was the only one who exorcised more souls than Vaggie. So Adam had an idea. He would get her to be a spy. That way he can easily get information. And even though it would be hard to send information his way, she could easily sabotage things if she got close to someone very high up in hell. So they decided to use Vaggie. As Adam would call over Vaggie, Vaggie would walk over. As Vaggie started to look up right at Adam, Adam and Lou would both smile and look at her as she would start to get confused. She didn't know what she was called here for. After all, she's usually just called for extermination. She would say, "Did I do something wrong?" Adam would say, "Not at all. In fact, you're going to go on inside a new project." As he started to sing about it, calling her a spy. Vaggie honestly wasn't too excited. She hated the people down there. They were gross and pathetic, but she had to do it. Their plan was wait for the next extermination day, and to make her look weak and helpless, so Charlie would take pity on her. Charlie was the princess of hell, and in fact, was very kind and sweet, and can be used to better their goals. As the next extermination came, Vaggie was laying there with an eye. She cut out her own eye as she hit her wings to try to fool Charlie. It was to make it look like she was injured in the extermination. This way, she can easily get intel on her plan. They heard from spies that she was planning some sort of hotel, but that was probably code word for something, some way to destroy the extermination crew. As Vaggie was sitting there, eventually Charlie would help her up and talk to her. Weeks would pass, and romance would start to fly. Vaggie was confused. She started to like Charlie, but it was just a job. She would pretend to be in love with Charlie. As Vaggie and Charlie started this romantic fake relationship, Charlie was extremely happy and excited about her dreams for the hotel. Eventually, Vaggie was shocked. Charlie didn't want to fight back against the extermination. Her plan was to let people go into heaven, to rehabilitate them. That's so disgusting. The people down here are straight up inferior and weak. Why would she do this? Charlie dumbing her nose into things. Things would play out similarly like in canon, but this time, when she let in Alistair, she had a plan. You see, Alistair was not the greatest man, and Vaggie knew this, and she can use this to her advantage as she started to slander the hotel even more, paying news media to say how they let in a psychopath, how Alistair nor Angel could be redeemed. Both of them were there. Both of them were awful, awful people. Vaggie continued to slander the hotel to try to stop people from coming there, ruining what was left of a reputation. As she thought she did her job well, suddenly someone new would show up. His name was Sir Pentious. Vaggie couldn't let this happen. She couldn't let some random sinner come in and ruin her plans. Little did she know that he was a spy too, just not nearly as good as a spy as she was. As she let him in, she had a plan. Her plan was to wait for it to become nightfall, then strike him down. After this, he could have just left, and no one would have known or been the wiser. But Sir Pentious seemed to play really good and play along with everything, so it seemed harder to get rid of him, as she thought. It would be suspicious if he just randomly left. However, as Vaggie went to his room, she saw he wasn't there, and before Angel could catch him, she saw he was about to put up cameras. This made her smirk, because it made her realize that she could just play along with the story. as suddenly she looked at Serpentis. Serpentis looked back and say, oh, as he's about to call for backup, but then Vaggie would take it and break the watch. As she laughed, now that those cameras are there, I can just say, you tried to record us. I caught you and you ran away, and no one will think twice. It was going to be hard to get rid of you, but now it'll be super easy. She smirked as she pointed a spear at him. He said, why would you want to get rid of me? Because simple. There's only room for one spy. As then, she obliterated him. Getting rid of him was quite easy. Serpentis was quite weak compared to her and had no experience. The egg boys, on the other hand, were easy too. She just threw them off a ledge, and they cracked like Humpty Dumpty. She easily took care of the egg boys and Serpentis. As the next day came, they were shocked to see Serpentis was a spy, but they all believed Vaggie that he ran away, so the days would continue. Things would go on just like normal, until one day Vaggie would be out, as suddenly she would get a signal. You see, they had spies all over the has-been place. The hotel, the city, everywhere. So she would get a signal when, as she was walking, she would hear someone say a phrase. As they said, man, that last extermination was brutal. My great aunt Sally won't survive this next one. You can bet a quarter on that. That was the phrase. As she heard that, she knew what she needed to do. As she would go to a discreet location. As Loot was there in a disguise, she would walk up and say, tell me, what do you know? Vaggie would tell her everything, as in Loot would smirk. Well, our plan is to egg them on, make them get ready for an attack, and they'll put all their defenses in the front. You'll attack from the back. You'll open a portal in the back of the hotel, and we'll pincer them. They'll likely put up a force field, but that will trap them in. They think they'll stop us from attacking them, when in actuality, it will trap them from when we hit them from the back. However, Charlie is still a big menace. I believe Adam can take her, but it will take a lot of time. Time that we could use to exterminate them all. Here, Loot would give her a lipstick. This is harmless to you. It was made to only hurt demon royalty. Kiss Charlie with this, and it will kill her. Vaggie would nod as she took the lipstick. Loot would smile and say, once you complete this, you'll be famous. The person that took down the Princess of Hell. Consider yourself a hero, Vaggie. As she walked away, Vaggie took the lipstick as she was ready to do it. She was ready to stop the princess and to finally complete their plans of extermination. As the days passed, it was getting closer and closer and closer to extermination. As Vaggie knew what she had to do, she gave everyone fake weapons, saying they're angelic, believing that they would help destroy angels, when in fact they weren't. They weren't going to do anything. In fact, the angels could easily take them out. As right before it started, Vaggie was with Charlie. As Charlie looked at her and said, I'm glad we can do this together. Vaggie would take her up to her bedroom, tricking her, making them think they're going to do something romantic, as then they kissed. But suddenly, Charlie would fall down and begin to cough. As she looked up at Vaggie, Vaggie said, goodbye, you disgusting creature. As she walked away, Charlie fell down to the floor. Gone. Charlie may have been the Princess of Hell, but she was naive. She thought she could redeem sinners. She thought she could stand up to the might of heaven. She was a fool. Charlie was gone. Then, Vaggie called in a portal as all the angels attacked from behind. There was no sinner left standing, and the angels got out of there before Lucifer even showed up. When Lucifer showed, it was nothing but a massacre, as no one was left alive. Lucifer would fall to the ground and begin to cry as he watched his daughter gone, everything she built gone, and he failed to save her. He was a failure of a king and a failure of a father. As we cut to heaven, Vaggie would be given a medal. She would be rewarded as a hero, as a warrior, as a woman who saved heaven from those disgusting sinners. The sinners were becoming more and more powerful. And this wouldn't change that. They would want revenge. However, it would take years for them to build up again. And when they did, heaven would be ready. With Loot, Adam, and Vaggie, nothing could stand in their way. The Holy Trinity of the Exorcists. And that is where we're going to leave things off. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're generous, there's a little thanks button where you could donate money. I mean, I wouldn't donate money to this. I'm not gonna lie. I won't blame you if you don't. Just wanted to let you know. Anyway, don't forget to share with all your friends. Hooray! I love you all. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Peace out.